Did Sean Payton make a mistake by not going for two at the end of regulation versus the Cincinnati Bengals? Bo Nix made an incredible play on fourth down, throwing a 25-yard touchdown to Marvin Mims. That put Denver in a situation with only 8 seconds left on the clock where they could have either kicked the PAT and go to overtime, or they could have gone for two to potentially try to win the game. Denver ultimately chose to go with the former. They chose to kick the extra point and force overtime. A lot of fans say that that was a bad decision by Sean Payton. I was curious if it actually was, so I went and looked at the win probability. If Sean Payton had gone for two, it actually would have been a slightly lower win probability than if you had gone for the tie. Additionally, Denver knew, and Sean Payton said this in his post-game presser, that they could still get into the playoffs with a tie. They didn't have to win the game to get in. They could get in with a tie. That also played into that decision. But the win probability, the analytics actually said to go for the tie in that situation, not go for two. And I can guarantee you one thing. If Sean Payton had made the decision to go for two and they didn't get it, the same fans complaining about him not going for two would have complained that they did go for two and he didn't get it. You can't win in that situation unless you actually do convert when you go for two, and the likelihood of that happening is only 1 in 4. So realistically, your better chance right there was actually to go ahead and take the points. You had four options basically. You could have gone for two and not gotten it, could have gone for two and gotten it, you could have kicked the PAT and made it, and you could have kicked the PAT and missed it. Two of those outcomes are favorable there for the Denver Broncos, but if you look at it, the one that's more favorable is tie it up, because you have two chances to get into the playoffs in that scenario. You could either win it in overtime, or you could just tie it. The real issue for the Denver Broncos here was the fact that they were unable to execute in overtime on offense. Cade York missed that field goal after the Bengals got first possession in overtime. Then it went to sudden death. Denver had an opportunity. If they had just gotten a few first downs, they could have wound the clock all the way down, basically, could have gotten in field goal range, and they could have decided if they wanted to kick it or not. If they ran the clock all the way down, they could trot Will Lutz out there, you could still win the game, or worst case scenario, you tied it. The two plays, or really three plays, that really sunk Denver's win probability were the third down play after that screen pass, where that was just a stupid second down screen. I have no idea why Sean Payton called that. The punt by Riley Dixon, that was another one where it was a short punt, set up the Bengals in good field position to go down into field goal range. They ended up scoring a touchdown to win it, but they had gotten well into field goal range already. They could have just kicked the field goal if they had wanted to. So that was another one that completely tanked Denver's win probability. And the third one was Bo Nix's miss on that deep ball to Troy Franklin. If any of those had gone Denver's way, Denver probably would win the game. But unfortunately, none of those plays went Denver's way, and it was just botched execution there in overtime. And that is why Denver lost this game at the end of the day. It's frustrating. It sucks. But now you've got a chance next week to bounce back against the Kansas City Chiefs backups. At the end of the day, Sean Payton harbors some blame, but it's more for the bad play calling in overtime than not going for two at the end of regulation. The Broncos kicking the PAT was the right decision. Overtime was the right decision. They just botched it in overtime. Alright guys, be sure to leave a like on this video as well, subscribe and ring the bell so these videos appear in your notification feed. And until next time guys, I'm your host Gage Madrid, saying peace out.